Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Jim Jordan does not hold back on Kaitlan Collins. When she thinks she's got one up on the government shutdown, the reality is much different, particularly when it comes to Obamacare. Let's dive in.
You do have people in your district who are in the Obamacare marketplace. I think it's about 36,000 of them, unless you have a different number. Do you believe that the subsidies should be expanded so premiums don't go up?
I think what we got to focus on is Chuck Schumer opening the government up, and then we can deal with that question. What I do know about Obamacare is everything they told us about Obamacare a decade ago when they passed this thing turned out to be false. They told us that, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. They told us if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. They told us premiums will go down. I think the President Obama actually said premiums will go down on average $1,500. They were 0 for 4. Everything they told us turned out to be false. And then what they did back at the start of COVID, they said, we're going to expand Obamacare. Everything we told you about was false, but we're going to expand it with this enhanced tax credit, this subsidy. And then again, they renewed it and said, we're not only going to expand it, we're going to extend it. And now they want to extend it again. And Hakeem Jeffries said 1 year is not enough. We got to do it for 2 years, or we're not even going to discuss anything. So I think that's the history. And I think, again, most people in our district, most people in the 4th District of Ohio, most Americans around the country think that makes no sense. Let's figure out how we can do health care better for all Americans. Let's not keep subsidizing, expanding, and extending Obamacare when you look at what they told us, it all turned out to be false.
So you're against extending the subsidies?
Yeah, I think that's a problem. I think we should look for other ways to improve health care for Americans, for families, and do it at a cheaper cost.
What could you do in the next 3 months that would change that?
Let's have that debate. But right now,
Senator Bernie Sanders, I think, would like to have that debate with you.
Let's have that debate. We're for health savings accounts. We're for empowering people. We're for catastrophic health plans, making it easier access to those. We're for all those things that we think empower people and patients, not insurance companies, not hospitals, we're for doing that, empowering people.
Yeah, but Republicans who have wanted to get rid of Obamacare for so long, you're one of them. You said the subsidies before you believed were illegal. They have never introduced a comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare. So I think most Americans who are saying open enrollment starts November 1st don't have faith that you're going to change that in the next 6 weeks.
So the remedy, so you think the remedy is just keep extending a program that has driven up premiums?
No, I'm
a program
asking
that didn't meet any of the statements that the proponents of it made didn't come true, and we just need to keep expanding and extending and extending and expanding.
That's not what I said. I asked what your replacement is, because
I'm for all those. I'm for health savings accounts. I'm for easier access to catastrophic plans. I'm for all kinds of things that will help families actually have more control, more decision making in the process. And by the way, the subsidy, 40% of the people don't even use it, and the individual Americans don't know. It goes directly to the insurance company, and many of those people have never had a claim. That is a concern with how this thing works. So the Democrats' plan is let's extend it another 2 years. Well, that makes no sense. Let's have a debate on how we can do health care better.
So that's true that it goes to the insurance companies, but that helps keep the premiums low because it pays off the balance, basically. And the concern, disagree or agree with the subsidies themselves, is that if premiums jump, people can't afford it. They don't have health care. And then the burden on people who are sick and need that coverage is higher.
I tell you what the Democrats want. The Democrats want health care for people who are non-citizens. That's driving up health care costs, too.
Don't change the subject from the subsidies.
No, the subject is you're talking about health care, and all I know is Maxine Waters said we want health care for illegal immigrants.
But I'm talking about the subsidies themselves,
every single Democrat presidential candidate back in 2020, they asked them, how many of you will support health care for people who are non-citizens, for illegal immigrants? Everyone on stage raised their hand. Kamala Harris raised her hand. Joe Biden raised his hand. Pete Buttigieg, they all raised their hand. That's what they're for. That's what they want here in this bill.
But we went through all this with House Speaker Mike Johnson last week, trust me. But my point was on the subsidies themselves.
You went through because that's their position, and we're opposed to that position. We don't think that's common sense. We don't think that's good for the country. We don't think that's the right approach. What we do think is we can have a debate on what's better for health care, but we don't think extending and expanding Obamacare and giving it to illegal migrants is going to help the How's that going to help the families I represent?
To stay on the subsidies.
Even people who are in Obamacare. How's that going to help them?
Subsidies, which I'm talking about.
No, how's that going to help them? How is that going to help them?
Your fellow Congresswoman, Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene, has a very different opinion than you on this, and she said that Republican leadership is not having a conversation about what to do about that if these subsidies don't get extended.
We have conversations about health care all the time in this town. It's like one of those issues we talk about a lot, and the Democrats always want more government, which leads to higher costs and I think reduced, not the same quality of care. So we're happy to talk about what happens in the future, but let's take one step at a time. Let's open up the government.
Yeah, but I think that they have the question of what happens when these expire, and they haven't seen Republicans. I mean, this is a Republican saying Republicans don't have a plan for this.
I think, actually, think about this. If this were the other way around, if Republicans said, if Mike Johnson said, I voted for a Democrats are in control, I voted for a continuing resolution 6 months ago, but I'm not going to vote for it today because I want, pick the policy. We want tax cuts. We want school choice. We want some other policy. Some policies in the a single policy that we were fighting for that one thing. You guys would lose your mind. You would be like, oh my goodness, you voted for it 6 months ago, but you won't vote for it now because you want this policy. And by the way, no one.
That's not true. That's not fair or true. We've asked Democrats who have been on the show.
You guys would have been on Republicans. I cannot believe
we've asked Democrats who have been on the
show
what changed, and they said the one big beautiful bill passed, and it changed the Medicaid eligibility requirements.
The one big beautiful bill made clear,
and it changed the Obamacare subsidies.
The one big beautiful bill made clear illegal immigrants can't get health care, and they don't like that.
Illegal immigrants can't get health care, as you know, it's against federal law.
No, they all raised their hand and said they were for it, and the bill that they filed.
What happened on the debate stage is not
Kaitlan,
what's in the one big beautiful
website.
bill.
Go to Mike Johnson, Speaker Johnson's website, page 57. I think it's section 2041.
It's talking about people with legal status. Trust us, I'll send you the interview.
But it's right there,
about people with legal status,
for God and everybody to see.
DACA, Dreamers, refugees, asylees,
and illegal migrants. Because remember, every single Democrat candidate for president said they were for it.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
That smug little look from Kaitlan Collins says it all. Right there at the end of this video, you can see her going, aha, I have my one little talking point that can actually needle Republicans. See, we're actually talking about refugees. We're talking about people who are here technically, legally. Okay, forgive my ridiculous voice for a few moments, but that is how much contempt I have for Kaitlan Collins, for CNN, and for the entire framework of this entire government shutdown, not to mention the idea of the Obamacare subsidies. As someone who's actually worked in the medical industry, who has actually driven between hospitals during the lockdowns, by the way, not to mention during the Summer of Love, I was on the 75-85 merge in Atlanta delivering medical kits to Atlanta Medical Center as the mob passed over the edge of the varsity on 75-85 northbound. I happened to be on southbound, and I was able to weasel my way through traffic and finally get my delivery, and then I had to take a whole lot of back roads out of Atlanta. I know how this system works, okay? The hospitals will fake like they need extra funding. They will try to put as much pressure on legislators as much as they possibly can. They will do anything they can in order to get your money. That is our entire medical system. That is our entire healthcare system. And Obamacare enabled it. Hey, y'all. According to new reports, central banks around the world may be buying twice as much gold as official reports suggest. Yeah, you heard that right. Twice as much. And get this, they're bypassing traditional markets and buying directly from miners in Asia, Africa, and in Latin America. That means no US dollars, just physical gold. This shift isn't just symbolic, it could be strategic. They could be looking to bypass traditional Western markets. So if central banks are scrambling to reduce their dollar exposure and own more physical gold, should you do the same? That's where the award-winning precious metals company Goldco comes in. Right now, you could get a free 2025 gold and silver kit and learn more how gold and silver can protect your savings. Just go to politibralgold.com. Plus, you could get up to 10% back in bonus silver just for starting up. Go to politibralgold.com. That's politibralgold.com. I remember having and hearing, not just having, but hearing the debates on the entire setup, on the entire premise, and nothing ever made sense to me even as a kid. And then I remember hearing someone say, well, this enables insurance companies and hospitals to actually, talk to each other. What? Well, hold on. Wait a minute. If that is the best talking point of the entire ACA, which is Obamacare, then not only is this stuff terrible, it's going to enable the medical industry to continue to screw you. And that's what it did. That's all it did. It gave the American people a few bones here and there, but just like No Child Left Behind. Okay? Do you know what that bill did, by the way? No Child Left Behind was not an attempt to get more people educated. Oh, no, 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 no. It was an attempt to end the squabbling in Congress, saying, well, you've got these counties in your district that don't measure up to the test scores. You're not going to get that interstate extension that you desperately need. It's settled law. You can't advocate for your own constituents because of test scores. That was No Child Left Behind. Obamacare did the exact same thing, but with insurance, and it made everything worse. Do you know how I know it made everything worse? My best friend is a doctor. You know what he complains about? He complains about his patients, and he complains about the insurance companies. He complains about the way that they nickel and dime you. He complains about the way that they will ultimately try their best to make sure that you don't get the care that you need because it doesn't meet their bottom line. The reality is, if you made insurance opaque, if you made it clear and see-through, in order for you, the American citizen, to actually see what goes on, a whole lot of costs will go down. Because they will be forced to be in a situation where, we can't deny this nonsense anymore. And yet, for some reason, most folks in the medical industry vote Democrat. They want more bureaucracy. They want more red tape because they think that the bureaucracy and red tape, which got us here to begin with, is going to save them. And Kaitlan Collins is out here with this smug idea saying, Republicans are hurting your ability to get to more medical care. I was there. I'm sorry, I wasn't. That's not the right way to phrase this. I was politically active right around 2006, 2007. And I was in middle school at the time. But I was politically aware. All right, I watched Glenn Beck religiously. And it's not that that was the formation of my worldview because I didn't know enough at the time, but I was smart enough to question things. I hope you are too. And the reason that I find myself questioning things so often isn't just because I'm naturally a skeptic. It's because, no, things aren't adding up. Jim Jordan is talking about the political matters that are actually facing us right now, which I find very interesting because Kaitlan Collins is grilling him, but he's not in the Senate. Jim Jordan isn't a senator. He's a congressman. He's in the lower chamber. They're not the ones having the snag up on the Schumer shutdown. It's the Senate, which tells me that the Democrats have one talking point that they can actually go for. And it's not, unfortunately, it's not about illegal immigrants are getting health care. I'm going to be completely honest, that talking point has sailed. Okay, that sailed a couple of months ago, and it's reached its zenith. It's like going overboard on a joke. You're just going to land flat on your face. Jim Jordan does need a new talking point here. And he's afraid to get a new one because we don't know what direction it's going to go. It's scary territory. So the Democrats, who have been unusually silent this week, or at least in the past 7 to 10 days, they've been waiting for their opportunity. And what it sounds like to me now, I said this yesterday in another video, that it looks like the Democrats aren't winning on the Schumer shutdown. It's slowly looking like, well, they might actually have a few extra points to make. And they think it's going to be the Obamacare subsidies. The reality is the American people are tired of these subsidy talks. They're starting to question the whole framework of, wait a minute, if I'm getting this subsidy, why am I not seeing the uptick? Why am I not seeing the money up front? After all, show me the money, after all. Nothing is making sense to the American people right now. And it does not matter what Kaitlan Collins is trying to say because she's off in the weeds and doing her own thing. But we are in new territory here, and we're starting to look at Obamacare like it fully is, like the ugly chimera that it is. And Jim Jordan is pretty close. I think he can go a little bit farther, but right now we are in this weird no man's land. And CNN is trying to pounce, and I don't think it's working. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. My name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.